other boxcar down. As I say, I'm still experimenting with uh, how to operate this basement empire of mine. Now, I need to run around these cars. So I'll uncouple and take the engine light all the way down to this end. And this reason, we'll also suppose that between Gilbert Yard and the town pink foam, there's quite a distance, hundreds of miles, let's say. So I don't want to use the yard to run around the train. And while this town seems somewhat long, I'd estimate it at 1, 2, 3, 4, say 5, and about 24 feet long. It's probably still very short compared to a prototype town. So this may be a prototype size runaround track length. Now, if someone were working the yard at this end, I think it would be possible to coordinate with the local so either one track or the other can be used as the lead for switching and not impede too much on the local's operation. Once again, this air hose is hanging up. On the rock pilot there. And as I say, if we need to clear the yard to make this move, or if we need to clear a track here to help the yard move, so be it. One thing I should have done was leave this caboose on the main here. And maybe in the future, what I would do is shuffle these cars around. Maybe I'll do that now. We'll see how it works out. We'll take the last 4 cars and put them in front of these 3. That way we have a continuous rotation of cars going to the Frito-Lay plant. And while these are cement hoppers, or these covered hoppers used for a heavier commodity, for the sake of operating and keeping things interesting, I'll just assume that 2 short cars equals a longer car. Now the air hose is jammed under the pilot. That's something different. Okay, so we'll shove these cars in the clear. supposed to put that Wabash car along here also, wasn't I? I got confused with all the short cars being out. Once these are in the clear of the siding, go ahead, retrieve the cars that were there. Keep an eye on that air hose to make sure it doesn't jam under the rock pilot. Nice. I'll stop between 3 and 5 ties and couple them together. And we'll make the shove. We'll shove all these cars back through the loading shed. And we'll call that good. Oops. This really needs that long shank coupler on the nose. And with all the cars delivered, we can pick up our caboose and head back to the Gilbert yard, which should be many hundreds of miles between here, or maybe dozens of miles. Depends on the operating scheme that you want to accomplish. So now this locomotive is in the clear on the outside track. Oh, we can get to some paperwork. UELX. There's this car here. Detroit Toledo Shoreline. There's this car here. The CNO 678. Well, it's not a brown car, but that was the one. The Wabash car will go in here. No, these got out of order because I used the cards for something else. So we have the Conrail, we have the Wabash car, we have the Sandhill Western, then we have the Delaware and Hudson. There are a couple of there are a couple of car cards I don't think I have made quite yet. Anyway, so the Delaware and Hudson and the Wabash cars. And these will all get thrown there. We should have 3 cars here. We'll stack these up, put the first car on the track there. And we can just shove those there. I'm not sure how. Here they are. FMLX and FMRC. I thought I had those cards. What we have here is CD&Q XP, which is the box car over here. UTLX TM is the tank car, UTLX 629, so those two are there. You have a B&O 3025, a Wabash 5005, Norfolk Western, and C&O. So these are the cards. I'll put them in this order here. Put them in my locomotive pack and clip them together. So now we have a train pack for this train. We have 2 car cards for the cabooses for this train. No locomotive card or pack yet. I'm still working on printing those out. And we have a GP40-2 sitting over here without a card. So that is a complete round of switching my basement layout. The next thing I'll do, as I say, is I'll draw 1 card from each of the packs to determine how many cars are coming into Worcester. I'll get a train, I'll gather them from this town, and then I'll take the train back into the yard where I could block it if it needs to be blocked. And then I'll run the train into Worcester. I'll spot any off-spot cars. I'll pull any outbound cars. And then that train will continue on around the layout and stop on one of the tracks. And then the Worcester switcher will go to work spotting any Gertie Industry cars, shifting them around. And then once that's done, the train that was left here in the siding can then come back into the yard, can be broken down into Gertie and non-Gertie cars. The Gertie cars can stay in the yard on the inside track. The non-Gertie cars can be distributed throughout the town. Then once the cars are distributed, now even though gondolas are the Gertie cars, I happen to have scrapyard crane and scrap piles, so those will get shifted over here as well. Once those are done, all the cars are there, then the train will, or the locomotive will come back to the yard and tie up, and we'll draw more cards. Now if there are 2 operators, not quite sure how well we could both stay busy at once. I think it would work okay with one switching Worcester while the other one picks up cars from the town, and then once the cars from the town are picked up, then what we can do is sort of switch jobs, and the person that was working Worcester can then classify the cars, and then the person that was pulling cars from the town can run the Gertie switcher. That way each person would have probably 30 to 45 minutes on each end of the layout, on each side of the basement. And I think that would be about the length of an operating session, maybe an hour, with 2 people working, maybe just over 2 hours with 1 person working. Once I get someone over here to see, to operate with me, we'll put that to the test. Until now, it works pretty well for just one person, me.